Shalom, it's me, Sun and Skye, and welcome back to Shovel Knight. And before we take on Specter Knight, we're gonna take on this mighty duck type enemy. But it's not the enemy itself, it's a stage, where I think the only point of it is just to accumulate some cash, if we want to do... I mean, I think the only point of it is to just get cash. So yeah, you could completely avoid these guys and be okay. But in some cases on the world map, they are unavoidable. Yeah, they'll sometimes like trap you in a little space, and it's not very nice, you know. Oh, and I found the trout pull fish the last time. I used my fishing rod in a pit. In a pit that was sparkling. You always want to try fishing into the sparkling pits, and you'll find occasionally a trowel, other times a 300 gold worth fish. But I just jumped off the edge of that stage, because you get some funny dialogue here. Do not sully our waters with your filthy body. Next time I won't be so merciful. And that's literally the thing I did the first time going into that stage. I just walked up to this giant apple fish and jumped into the water, because I thought that's what you were supposed to do. But in that place, you can just fill up your grails if you want to. You don't have to. I don't think there's ever an instance where you have to use the item. Except, I don't know. I could be wrong. I guess we'll see later. But this is Specter Knight stage. It's very spooky, scary, skeleton. But I just wish that this stage came later in the game. I don't know. Personally, I think it should have came later, because I don't know. It's just my personal preference. Like in Mega Man 7, you didn't really have to do Shade Man's stage until like halfway through the boss masters, and that was a graveyard themed, or like a spooky themed stage. And I don't know. I guess I've grown accustomed to the scary stage happening later in a game. Besides, I think Specter Knight is like awesome. Like everything about him, like his design, his stage, his music. Oh, his music. Like, why would you want him to be like one of the earlier bosses? I feel like he's more forgettable, for that matter. Like he's the list of the Knights of the No Quarter. And apparently he's like the most begrudgingly like loyal to it too. Like apparently the Enchantress, like the only, like Specter Knight follows the Enchantress because she's magically capable of extending his undeath. So I'm assuming he's undead. And if the Enchantress dies, well, I guess he's dead too. Or like dead. Like I'm not sure if he's like a skeleton under that mask. Well, I think it'd be assumed. Like he's basically the spitting image of the Grim Reaper. So I mean, I guess so. And the Grim Reaper, no doubt, in homage to the Castlevania series, where you actually fight the Grim Reaper. Or Death, or whatever you want to call him. Nosferatu. No, that's vampires. Never mind. Speaking of dying, probably are wondering what happens if you die. Well, if you eat, the two ways of dying you have are losing all your health or falling down a pit. Or both, I guess, in some cases. And I don't think there's ever a time where you could get crushed to death, so those are the only two. And if you die, like a percentage of your moolah will be taken away from you. So like, considering you don't really have lives, money's the only thing that you have to lose. Which is why, you know, you don't want to die. So don't. And is there ever a game where, like, you have to die? Like, is it ever encouraged to die in a game? I guess, oh man. There's a game at, like, the tip of my tongue. I think it was made by Edmund McMullen. Like, one of those, Super Meat Boy games. Oh, I've yet to acknowledge the enemies of this stage. You have the ghost enemies, which will not die if you swipe them with your shovel, but will phase out of existence for a while, but then they come back shortly after, and which makes them quite the bother. And then you have the frog type enemy. They're electrical. You can't really attack them when they're electrical. Unless you hit them from a certain distance with the shovel, but that do, so I don't know. And then you have the skeletons with the crowns, which you can use their heads to I don't know, play around with the platforms for a bit. If both you and an enemy are on the like in their earlier, like literally the screen before this one, the platform, if both you and the head of the skeleton were on the platform, it would lower down. Once you're once only one of the things are on there, then the platform shall raise. And if both of you are off the thing, the platform shall raise. So you have to play around with the skull throughout those areas. And occasionally, in the place of dishes, where sometimes chicken will be there, this guy will not be there, but he is selling us the I didn't see that, the phase locket. This will let you be invincible for like, I don't know, like 2 seconds, maybe 3. And I forgot how much mana it takes up. I think it was like 8. But yeah, it's pretty useful. It lets you stay in the air for a second, which we'll be taking advantage of in a later boss fight. I mean, like, we'll be taking advantage of the phase lock in a few instances of this playthrough, but a particular boss fight, we'll be certainly using it in, very resourcefully, might I add. But the bombs that we will also find in the plates of dishes that you might find chicken in, first of all, you don't want to get exploded by it, but you could also hit the bomb and send it flying off into a direction so it doesn't blast towards you. But if you need the bomb to explode a certain area, if you're really good with the timing, you could hit the bomb and send it to a wall or something, or an enemy, and blast it off. I have no idea how to get to those jewelry on the top left. The only thing I could think of is maybe like one of the potions that the Trouples could give you that would give you the ability to basically become a magnet for all the jewelry on the screen, all the money on the screen, and it would pull it all towards you. But still, to this day, other than that, I have no idea how to get to it. And I was actually trying to find out how to get to it there, but still, no luck. And then we have this jumpy skeleton enemy. A lot like if you in Mega Man 2, the Cotton Eye Joe riding the mech that jumps up and down. It's a lot like that one, but I mean, I guess this skeleton enemy is a lot easier. I guess I always found a difficult time fighting those enemies. They're also like the enemy in Mega Man 1, the same like type of like bouncy up and down type of enemy. that were always impossible to dodge and took a third of your health. If you got hit, that is. And then if we're talking about Mega Man 3, there was that spiky enemy that rocketed up and tried to slam you. There are a lot of enemies like that in Mega Man. Oh, and this section of the stage is always hard. You want to wait for the lightning bolt to shoot before continuing on. Like, just make sure you know the area before moving, or else you might fall in a pit quite a few times. And I don't know if the YouTube can actually see the lightning bolt. Like, it is quite a fast lightning bolt. And maybe like a slight seizure warning I should probably put in the description of this video. I don't know, the lightning bolt isn't that flashy. But this is the spooky, scary Specter Knight. This is no place for you, living mortal. You shall be summoned when it is your time, and everyone has a time, as you saw with your beloved Shield Knight. Lies, I won't believe such talk from phantoms. Heh heh heh. Yes, he's going to take our life, as he is the, I don't know, Grim Reaper type enemy. Because he reaps and stuff. He might seem spooky, but Specter Knight is not that hard in my opinion. He has a very predictable strategy. He has the Scythe Slash, as you just saw there. He will float back and forth after doing that, where you can get a free shovel hit from him, and then he'll be throwing his scythe. There's an L throw, and then there's a U throw, and then he'll be summoning the Skeletons. There's no real reason where you have to destroy all of them. Like, I just destroyed that one on that platform because that's the only one I really need. That's the L throw right there, where he goes to the bottom left of the screen, where you can just do a pogo bounce on his head. And then he has this move, after you take him down to half health, he will destroy his skeleton minions, and then he shall turn the screen completely black. But the boss fight continues normally after that. He's the same fight, just the screen is black. I just wish his boss fight was harder and less predictable, but nevertheless, we have destroyed Specter Knight. And we gained 1,500 cash, and he's gone forever. Or, I mean, he's not really gone, he's just lying there now. Maybe he's dead. Finally. And another night away from Shield Knight. Oh, there she is. And she's falling from space again. Now, this time in the dream sequence, you will have enemies to fight. And you also have to save her. Yeah, just, you know, fight the enemies, but make sure you, like, stay in the middle of the screen, because, like, if you drop her, I don't think you keep the cash. But I'm not sure. There has to be some I remember reading somewhere that there isn't, like, an actual consequence to letting her drop. But I'd assume that you wouldn't get the money. And we got another meal ticket, so we shall be raising our health in the next part. See you guys then.